That's right, everybody. New section of my podcast. Or whatever you call this. Honestly, have no clue what this is. More of a vlog. But, anyways, The Path to Manhood, Episode 2. My Monday message. So, this is going to be a new section in the upcoming weeks. Where every Monday, I'm going to give a little bit of a Bible message of something I'm reading about and something I'm going through. Just really talking about like what I want from it and what I think God wants me to do and what God's been showing me. I think I'm also going to do a Saturday sermon. So look forward to that and see where that takes us. So get off. I want to start with a quote by We the Kingdom. I'm not yet where I'm going, but I'm a long way from where I was. I think this is very crucial to think about. It really hits home for me because I have a lot of goals and I'm not yet the man I want to be, hence the path to manhood. But I definitely realized looking back that I'm far away from where I was. I used to sell drugs, I used to be on the street, I just used to not be a good kid. I used to be cocky, arrogant, I kind of used to be just a mean kid. Before that, I used to get bullied and I was non-confident and I just was kind of a loser. I was a nobody. But through Christ, I became somebody. God does extraordinary things through ordinary people. And that brings us into the next section. How does he do it? Prayer. God wants to bless you. God wants to answer your prayers. God wants to perform miracles in your life. Probably a year ago now, my grandma gave me a book. It's called The Prayer of Jabez. I never really thought to look through it. I didn't really care too much about reading other biblical books at that time. But recently I opened it up. I haven't quite finished it, but I've read 70 pages in the last 2 days of it. Maybe it's more like 50 to 70 pages in the last 2 days of it. And it really kind of struck me. So, in Chronicles, there's a long list of names. Just name after name after name after name. But, in there, it gives a story about a guy named Jabez. Jabez means born of pain, or live a life of pain, essentially. So he was born into a painful situation, given a name that represented pain, and he somehow just became very happy. He became very affluent, and he had a lot of territory and had a large amount of authority to speak the word, the word of the Lord. And there wasn't a lot of things in between. It went from he was kind of sad to he was successful and happy. And the only thing in between was one verse, and it was a prayer. Oh, that you would bless me indeed, and enlarge my territory, that your hand would be with me, and that you would keep me from evil. That really kind of struck me. It kind of really just hit home. It's essentially like, most people be like, it's a selfish prayer. But God wants us to pray. God wants us to speak with him. God wants us to ask him of things. Why not ask God to perform miracles in your life? Why pray small to a God who's big? Pray big. Ask for a lot, because God is everything. God has everything. God made everything. So why would you ask him for just a little bit? Ask him for everything. Ask him for authority, an audience to preach the word to. Ask him for a success story and a great testimony to share, to preach to others. Ask him for a territory in this sense can be anything. Like it could be a social media platform where ask him to grow it from 3,000 people to 30,000 people, where you can preach the gospel and that you could just live life according to his. If you have a Christian business or you're a business owner who is a Christian, ask him for more customers. Ask him to grow your business so that people can see that God blesses his own. God performs miracles in your lives. But we never ask for miracles. So you gotta start. You gotta just start asking for miracles. Jabez did, and Jabez clearly improved from it. In this book, there's a lot of other testimonies to other people who prayed this prayer every single day and kind of just started succeeding. Their prayers got answered. God started blessing them. I like to think of an analogy that I read in the book. Say you have a guy named Mr. Jones, and he goes to heaven, he gets to heaven. In heaven, let's say Peter's giving him a tour. This is all, like, theoretical, by the way. And there's a warehouse, and Peter recommends that he doesn't go look. And then Mr. Jones is like, I really want to. So Peter's like, alright, but you might not like what you see. And then Mr. Jones goes in, and there's thousands and thousands of boxes with names on them. And he goes and he looks and finds his own box. Peter warns him, he's like, you might not want to open that. When he does open it, it's all the blessings he could have had that he never asked for. God wants to grant you the things you want. God wants to be there for you. God wants you to lead a successful, happy life. But he also wants you to ask. Why? You ask your father for something. When I was little, I used to ask my dad, hey, can I go get ice cream? Or, hey, Dad, can we go to the movies? And my dad would say yes. He loved providing for me. He loved taking care of me. Your Father in heaven likes taking care of you. He likes providing for you. He just wants you to ask him. He just wants you to communicate with him. He just wants you to love him. He wants you to love him as he loves you. He wants you to not be on the fence, not second guessing him. He wants you to be all in for him. Are you all in for God? Is that what you want to do? Is that who you are? It should be, because he's the only thing worth living our lives for. Jesus is King. And that ends my Monday message. God bless you all. I love you, fam. And as always, read the Bible, pray, and put God first. Peace.